Good morning all. On behalf of the FCT and team, I'd like to welcome us to today's press briefing to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child 2020 and the closeout of Engine 2. You are all welcome.
So the very first International Day of the Girl Child happened in 2012, and coincidentally that actually was just a year before the ENGINE program started. ENGINE, which is an acronym for Educating Nigerian Girls in New Enterprises, is a DFID funded program that's actually started in 2013 October and ending this October 2020. 7 years later, we have a lot of results and success stories to show for the work that we've done together as partners seated in this room and beyond this room. Thank you once again, and I want to welcome us to this press briefing. This release date is Friday, October 9, 2020. Mexico and partners celebrate girls' voices on the International Day of the Girl Child. Today, Mexico and partners are proud to join their voices in making the International Day of the Girl Child, in marking the International Day of the Girl Child. This year's theme, My Voice, Our Equal Future, allows Mexico and Tabitha Pumi Foundation to take stock of the achievements made following the successful implementation of the Educating Nigerian Girls in New Enterprises NG2 program, funded by UKAID, now FCDO, through the Girls Education Challenge. Adolescent girls are one of the most disadvantaged groups in Nigeria. Many barriers prevent them from accessing education, from transitioning either to higher education or work, and also from entering into the workforce. This lack of personal and economic empowerment can eventually deprive them from having a voice and decision-making power about their future. ENGINE was implemented across 4 Nigerian states, Kano, Kaduna, FCT, and Lagos. ENGINE has transformed the lives of over 18,000 marginalized girls and young women within the ages of 17 and 23 by addressing key barriers, norms, and practices that promote inequality, that fuel inequalities. ENGINE's work within key government structures and community and work with varied stakeholders to seek to give girls a voice, ensure that they have access to education, and ensure that they are empowered with the requisite skills and tools to get better work opportunities and the ability to negotiate decisions that impact positively on their lives. Over 7.9 million girls are out of school in Nigeria, and data shows that Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, and this would mean that they will not have access to basic education without assistance. Fatima, who is one of the 1,362 marginalized girls, because this year we are showcasing girls' voices, so Fatima is one of our beneficiaries, and she's one of the 1,362 marginalized girls supported by ENGINE to go back to school. Fatima dropped out of secondary school after she lost her father. However, upon her enrollment into the ENGINE program, she not only was able to return to school and pursue her studies, she also became an advocate promoting education in her community. So this is Fatima's voice. Let's hear Fatima. She said, I stood firm with ENGINE to escape poverty and illiteracy, which I know would have only taken away from me any hope of living a good life. Now, I love everything about my school. This is Fatima's voice. The intervention empowered young women. That's the ENGINE intervention. Empower young women not to be afraid to challenge the status quo. Results shows that girls are now delaying marriage to go to school. Girls are sharing their life skills experiences with other peers. They are acting as leaders and peer mentors. Girls are speaking up for their rights. Girls understand protection and they're able to protect themselves. Girls are leading actions that promote gender equality in over 194 communities, in 194 communities where engine is being implemented. I would like us to listen to another of our girls' voices. So this is Salma. Salma is a 17 years old engine program beneficiary. After managing to delay her own marriage, she became a girl leader in her community, promoting girls' education and life skills training among her peers. This is what Salma has to say. I am not ready to get married now. I want to finish school before getting married. I want to complete secondary school, then get married. I want to pick someone by myself. That's Salma for you. To facilitate girls' access to continuous learning during school closure due to the recent COVID-19 pandemic, Engine organized virtual learning sessions held on WhatsApp, radio, and SMS. Available program data shows that only about half of the program girls have access to Android phones, mobile phones, but only fewer girls have access to Android phones. So about half have access to phones, but very fewer than half, have access to Android-enabled phones that enable them to learn on WhatsApp. Most times, girls even rely on the phones of their parents, guardians, to participate in lessons. And others who do not have access to phones at all, because you remember we're working with marginalized girls, were reached through their peers and our trained facilitators who reside in the community. To address this gap, the program deployed teaching through radio to reach more girls, including non-program participants. One of the beneficiaries from the radio program has this to say. So this is Blessing, 23 years old, FCT participant. The radio classes allow me to learn from my house. I like the workbook that Engine gave us. I use it to teach my children too. Mercy Corps appreciate the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, the FCDO, which before now was what we know as the UKA. The Nigerian Ministry of Education, Ministry of Women Affairs, seated here, their state ministries that we work with in Kano, Kaduna, FCT, and Lagos, other departments, other ministries, departments, and agencies, the National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education, Agency for Mass Education, AME, who provided funding and structures. So funding was from the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, and the other listed provided the structure, the resources, through which the over 18,000 girls improved their learning in literacy, numeracy, life skills, and financial education. Mercy Corps welcomes a partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria, Access Bank, National Identity Commission, and all the private sector partners who enabled our financial inclusion process and skills building that has contributed to the improvement of our girls' income. In the light of this year's International Day of the Girl Child, Mercy Corps and Tabitha Kumi Foundation charges all actors to see the importance of girls' education and life skills intervention, and to reimagine a better world inspired by adolescent girls who are energized and recognized, counted and invested in. I hope their voices have motivated us to put in more to support these ones. Thank you. Just a brief about NG program. Educating Nigerian Girls in New Enterprises is a 3.5-year program, adolescent education program funded by the FCDO through the Girls Education Challenge. Mercy Corps leads the implementation of Engine in Nigeria, along with Society for Women Development and Empowerment of Nigeria, SODIN in Kano, Action Health Incorporated, AHI in Lagos, Kidney Hope Across Nations Initiative, CAN in Kaduna, and Tabitha Kumi Foundation in FCT, who is actually our host for today. Thank you for listening. But if you have questions for what we've shared so far, I also have my colleagues that we implemented the program together in the room, and we'll be able to respond to your questions. So this is the question and answer session. The floor is open.
My name is Ola Yemide, myself from Village The progress so far, I know have been affecting a lot of girls. I just want to know how many girls have been able to benefit from this project, especially in FCT, and what are some of your sustainable plans for them to carry on since you are rounding up the project?
1,883 direct beneficiaries of the project. Some of them were out of school and some were in school. But we had a higher number of girls who were indirect beneficiaries of the program. Some who were in the girls' fora in the schools that also benefited from the financial skills, benefited from the child and vulnerable adult protection training. And we also had girls in the community beyond the direct beneficiaries that the other girls mentored. The girls, our engine girls became peer mentors to other girls in the community that they taught as well all that they were learning. Sorry, I just remember you asked about the number of girls. What else was?
And the plan, the sustainability plan.
Okay, yes. All right. So the sustainability plans, first of all, the Department for Mass Education, with whom we collaborated for training out of school girls in our learning centers, have adopted most of our learning centers. In the schools, all in the UBEB schools, that is the lower secondary schools, the junior secondary schools, the code of conduct was adopted by a code of conduct through our own intervention, was adopted to be used in the schools, not beyond even the schools that engine was implemented in all the primary schools and junior secondary schools in the FCT. Then the CVAP manuals, with the rise in gender-based violence, our CVAP manuals will still be used in the schools to help train the girls, and our life skills manuals as well. Also, in the senior secondary schools, the Senior Education Board has committed to continuing to use them to take advantage of some of the lessons that they learned from engine to continue running in their schools. We also have the peer mentoring for teachers, and that was those trainings were trainings that teachers had not had in the FCT for many years before Engine 2 started, and they will continue. They have committed to continuing that after the closeout of the program.
And like Mr. Rile has rightly highlighted, we have three components of the program, major components, which refer to as outcomes. We have the learning, transition, and sustainability. So to just touch on this learning part, all the teachers that were used, that were engaged on the program are still within the system. They are government teachers who we have supported with capacity building, and these teachers will remain in the system. So they will continuously improve the system with the capacity that have been built and the skills that they have learned so far on the program. Also, we have our girls in the communities who also their capacity has been built, and they're going to continue to act as peer mentors to their other friends and all of that. On the transition part, girls are doing businesses. Businesses were supported, and these businesses were supported within the perimeter of what is workable in their community, and their mentors within these communities are continue to support their businesses, so that even at the end of the program, there are resources available and structures that are on ground to continuously support them in what they are doing. And on the sustainability part, she talked so much about some of the adoption by the government and some of the work we've done with the government to promote protection practices, policies and practices. So I just wanted to have that. Any member of the team can also please chip in if you missed out anything, or if you want to just add anything. We are still taking questions, so if there are other questions too, please.
All right, so in addition to what my colleagues have said and the Executive Director of the International Foundation, the program is actually being implemented in 2 of the 8 area councils of Abuja. In Abuja, that is Wari and Amak. So the 1,800 girls that were met were actually from 2 of the area councils.
But this is just a fraction of the 8,000 that was read out in the press release. because you're working in other states, in Kano, Kaduna, and in Lagos. In Kano, in 5 LGAs, in Kaduna, 6 LGAs, in Lagos, 5 LGAs.
I think it's also important to add that we also work with NYSC, and that's actually one of our sustainability plans as well. So beyond the 2 area councils, we actually have NYSC core members who are taking intervention to other area councils like TJ. We have some core members working in TJ. So we trained, so at the camp, we recruit core members as volunteers, and then they go ahead and replicate what our teachers in the school are doing. They replicate those in other locations where we are not. So by that, NGN has actually been able to reach further into the FCT.
Thank you. You just mentioned your intervention is in FCT and Kano, Lagos, and
Kano, Kaduna, FCT, and Lagos.
what are your plans to take us this activity to other states of the Federation?
Okay, so for every project, there are usually you have a scope, you have a project, you have a timeline. So for this project that was just implemented, our scope was within this 4 states. But the good thing is our work actually transcends this 4 states. So let me start from where to stop with the NYC. So the NYC, our work with the NYC actually is beyond the 4 states where we're working. And we have NYC in, I think, 16 states. 16 states who their DEX officers, we have DEX officers appointed, and their DEX officers have been trained on engine model, and these DEX officers are able to train core members when they come in for orientation in camp. So with this, with the NYC model, we're able to take the intervention beyond 4 states to further to over 15 states. Beyond that, some of the work that we've done, because FCT, you remember FCT is not a state. FCT is actually a national representation kind of. So we have some agencies that we've engaged at the FCT level, like the one that is already mentioned, the MNEC. MNEC is the agency responsible for informal education in Nigeria. MNEC has adopted the Engine Code of Conduct, and this will be used in the 36 states. So these are some ways where we are reaching other states where we are not implementing directly. So I'll just stop here for now. My colleagues can please add anything to this. We're also trying to really wrap up because people are waiting for us downstairs. So if we can take one more question, then we'll go and join the team downstairs. For the press members that are not able to wait, we'll give you the press release. But it's not going to be a long meeting, so we want to encourage you to please wait. So you'll be able to hear directly from the girls and the stakeholders. One last question before we go. Okay.
I'm Uchenna of Guardian newspaper. I just want to ask, are there likely economic impact of this program? What are your views as per the economic impact of this program, or is there nothing? Is there nothing like that?
You mean economic impact on the beneficiaries?
Yes, on the beneficiary.
Well, I think I touched on that. Our program is looking at learning. Our program is looking at, I said it's an education program, but we know that in Nigeria, a lot of young people are also involved because of poverty. Well, that's one of the barriers that actually take girls away from school in the first place. So if you want girls to go to school, if you want girls to complete their education, so you need to sustain and help with their retention. And one thing we've done as a program is to support their economic opportunities and skills building. So girls were asked to undergo training, vocational training. So we have vocational training partners across states, over 190, that supported our girls, in building their capacity in different vocations, including the non-stereotype. So we are used to girls doing hairdressing and tailoring, but our girls were able to learn plumbing, painting, fridge repair, and all of those things. So they're able to generate income. They're able to stay in school because we want our girls to learn. Some of them are not in formal schools, so some of them are in the informal school, so they're able to sell in the morning go to school in the evening, they're able to send their children to school, because research has shown that if a girl is not educated, there's every possibility for intergenerational poverty. So if she's able to break up, she's able to support her children, and then we can have a better society. So then we have a strong economic component with a lot of social impact stories. I'm sure in the larger meeting you will see some of our presentations on this. Thank you.
In addition to that, beyond the skills built and everything, some of the girls that have existing businesses, they also supported to expand those businesses so that they can diversify and have various streams of income. Because you find out that during a season, a particular business actually goes down. What do they fall back on? What's the cushion? So the program actually supported them in doing that. And it was not just practical. Within the learning sessions, girls' skills, their knowledge were enhanced in business and in financial education, how they can save their money and make their money grow, and how to ensure that they're able to manage their businesses. And that was why we had to really go into financial literacy for most of the girls, so that they can understand the basics of business, profits, how to calculate, how to ensure that their losses are minimal and their profits are really the most important things. And what we have seen is that it's not just an impact on the girl, it impacts on the entire family. Many of these girls are breadwinners in their homes. So you find out that through these initiatives, most of the families were helped to increase household income, and girls were even able to do the businesses for their parents or siblings to work while they go to school. And that's the way that the household is impacted. So it's not just limited to the girl, but to the household and the community.
So just to add that one of the things that has made our economic components very viable is the partnerships that we had with both public and private sectors. So we've had partnerships, for instance, in Lagos with the Lagos State Trust Fund, who provided over $29,000 worth of loans to our girls. And we also have partners with microfinance banks who are also giving access to our girls to some soft loans as well. But then in terms of financial worth of what we have spent so far in providing equipment grants to our girls, for instance, we spent over $7,000 providing equipment and soft loans to our girls to be able to expand their existing businesses across the state government.
So I think on this note, we want to say a big thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Medina. We're so happy to have you in the room, so excited. And thank you, ma'am, from the representative of the Minister for Women Affairs. So right now, we want to thank all our media partners, and we're going to go down to the hall to continue the event. Like I mentioned earlier, I really want to ask us to stay behind, especially to hear the voices of our girls. It will actually add a lot of value to your reporting. Thank you so much, and happy International Day of the Girl Child.